Welcome to another episode of Girl Down Podcast. It's me, Aeon, and first of all, I want to give a shout out to all of my supporters who continue to listen, to continue to share the podcast and help me grow the platform. Thank y'all so much. Y'all make what I do so easy, and I just feel blessed that I'm able to do this and I'm able to find community in you all that love and support and share the platform. I'm gonna start out this episode. I'm gonna try to keep this episode short as I always do because my point is very simple as always. But I'm gonna start out the episode with this clip right here.
Are telling me that you are a man trapped in a woman's body, then it's confusing me that you even have interest in carrying the baby. What further bothers me, and I don't care if you choose to, I'm just trying to help you out here and trying to understand how to be a better advocate, because if you are a man, yet you are choosing, because you have the luxury of still having a uterus, to then have a baby, then it lends itself to when people say being trans is a choice, being gay is a choice. You see what I'm saying? Because you're now cherry picking what parts of what benefits you best. Pardon my ignorance, and I may be saying it wrong, but if you're a man and you're trying to get us to believe and respect you as a man, then I'm gonna need you to be a man. Are telling me.
So that clip came from Funky Dineva, who's one of the hosts of Fox Soul's TGIF, which is a weekly show where they review the current hot topics of the day. If Funky Dineva and the name of that show and Fox Soul sounds familiar, I believe I did an episode a couple of episodes ago where I had to collect them about the fatphobic comments that they said about Lizzo. Um, Particularly with this show, particularly with this cast, they have an issue with transness and trans stories, particularly transness where it does not fit neatly into a cis hetero performative box or palette, where basically if folks are not trying to be as close to cis as possible, then therein lies the problem where it's too much for them or it's too confusing for them. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, I highly suggest that you do. My name on Instagram is Brianna JESQ. I did a 5 minute video just giving my rant to the topic at hand. That clip that I shared, it came after they did a story about how Calvin Klein did an ad for Mother's Day, which was also inclusive of trans men. They feature a pregnant trans man in their ad. And I don't even think they were trying to say that celebrate him as a quote unquote mother, but just to show that all types of people quote other than cis women get pregnant, and we should celebrate them as well in addition to cis women who typically are who you think of on Mother's Day that either have children or they're about to have children. Just being more inclusive, which the visibility is necessary because now we live in a time where there are so many examples, particularly of trans men who have had children or who are currently pregnant, that are being visible and sharing their stories and trying to create space for more people, particularly trans people, to have autonomy over their bodies. Specifically for AFAB, assigned female at birth individuals, um, who are comfortable, being a man, but having their genitals and being able to reproduce and have children, to give them more space to feel comfortable that if that's what they want to do in life, it's okay. I don't think I need to rehash the points I made in my immediate reaction, but I think the point of this particular episode is to say this. Um, because since then, since I posted the video to my social medias and people, my following at least has had the opportunity to weigh and give their thoughts, Claudia Jordan once again reacted how I would respect her to react to being called out on her transphobia. She was very dismissive, very passive, didn't even actually want to engage with what I was saying. This is Claudia Jordan's response. Oh Lord, every stance that you are not 100% in agreement with does not make someone transphobic. Y'all throw that term around way too much and it's lazy. Neither of us hates or fears that community. Please stop that false narrative. It's tired and it's a lie. And that response from her further solidifies my initial point, why I reacted and why I made my response. How can you not agree with somebody that has the ability you're basically not agreeing with, in this instance, trans men existence, because some trans men can and do in fact reproduce and carry, and it's a regular thing. This is not anything new. It's just the fact, it's just because trans folks overall are more visible, you're going to see these stories, but it's not this big issue like cis folks try to make it. And I'm pretty sure trans men aren't trying to marginalize or erase cis women. Because one, statistically, we can't, trans people can't do that. It's not enough of trans folks to take over cis women and their ability. Like, that logically just does not make any sense, because there's not that many numbers wise, there's not that many trans people to do that. And two, visibility doesn't mean, visibility is just shows that we exist. It doesn't mean that there's this overwhelming number of us and we're coming to get you. But I just, and I really thought about this. Just like I'm not centering the feelings or the tears of cis het black men that intentionally go out of their way to be problematic, I'm not doing so for cis folks that go out of their way to bait people into these trans stories, knowing they don't have the range, knowing that they don't have the compassion, knowing that they don't have the real connection to the community like they purport to, to talk about. And to be honest, there's nothing negative. There's nothing negative about the story. It's nothing negative about the story, and my point remains the same from when I made my immediate reaction video. The reason that Claudia and Funky Dineva and people like them have an issue with this story, with the fact that we live in a world where trans men can and do in fact choose to get pregnant, the fact that makes you uncomfortable, the fact that you feel like you have the wherewithal to get on a platform and work through your shit, not behind the scenes or behind the closed doors, but to work through it publicly on a public platform and say the wrong things, and then expect that trans folks, trans people are supposed to be understanding and supposed to coddle you when y'all have money. I ain't gonna say y'all rich, because smoke and mirrors, but y'all have money, but beyond that, y'all have access to information that if you really wanted to educate yourselves, particularly about the lives and the experiences of trans men and trans men who decide to have children, it's at your fingertips. And so many people, and also there's been so many trans men, black trans men in particular, that have been public and been visible about their journeys, in some instances multiple journeys, with having children. I think of Caden Coleman, a black trans man that has two children. I think of Miles Brady, who was on a reality show talking about his experiences having a child with his wife. There Alfonso's partner in Atlanta, who's currently pregnant right now. Um, like, it's so many. Again, the trans. It's easy for me to say transphobia because you and cis folks like you are choosing to be ignorant, and then but you have the privilege and the access to be on these platforms, so you have large followings, and you're not the undertone of the story isn't. It's that casual transphobia. It's that casual transphobia, because even though you're not saying I hate trans people and trans people should be killed, it's the fact that the way that you're setting this story up, the end resolution isn't live and let live, or this is a beautiful thing, or we're moving in the right direction. The whole undertone is it's sad, it's a loss for cis people. We feel like we can't say what we really say, because you want to say even more fucked up shit. That's why you're having this inner turmoil or inner tension within you. But you can't really say everything that you want to say, but you could say just enough to kind of be antagonistic, but in your eyes still be an ally. But and which is why y'all don't like me, because I'm not impressed with the false allyship. That story, and this isn't the first time y'all have talked about trans men in this way. Um, like, I see through it. I see through it. And in 2022, when we all have access to information, and when we have content creators that are purposely going out of their way creating content for free, which we all should be getting paid substantially more. That's why I monetize my platform for certain things, because if you really want it, you're going to have to pay for it. But since trans people of color have gone above and beyond to create free resources, but at this point, y'all don't want to be educated. Y'all don't want to learn. You want the free reign to be able to come up, say quasi things that give you that gray area to really be antagonistic to trans people, but then to act like you're an ally, and you don't want to be called out for it. But that I have no interest in prioritizing your feelings, especially when you're coming from my community. So yeah, y'all are not allies, but I've said this before, and y'all are going to slip up. And also, this is not like y'all work at CNN or MSNBC. This is fucking Fox, so internet, a free internet network with a free internet, with a Zoom show, and which lets me know that y'all probably have full reign and license, more than some, to pick the topics that you want to cover in your show. So the fact that y'all intentionally choose these stories about trans folks, because like I said, this is not the first time that y'all have had these type of conversations, particularly about trans men, pregnant trans men. The fact that y'all keep on picking these type of stories so you can have these type of reactions, because it's never positive. If it's never positive. It's always they need to be educated, but in the same vein, it makes them sad or it makes them uncomfortable. That's not allyship. That's not allyship, because people who watch your platform that already don't fuck with us, that's not putting the seeds of change in their hearts. It's reinforcing whatever negative shit that they already felt about us. So, but again, I'm not gonna have any mercy with people that in 2022 we all have access to so much free information, but you choose not to educate yourself and you choose to get on these big platforms and share these shitty ass opinions. But yeah, y'all are transphobes, and I feel comfortable calling y'all that. And until y'all change, like real renewable substantive change, I'm going to continue to call y'all out because part of my purpose is to combat the harm and have a counter narrative to the bullshit that y'all be spewing. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Foxo, Funky Dineva, Claudia Jordan, the resident, and also stop again. And I said this in my immediate reaction video. Leave T.S. Madison out of it. That's the other thing that blows me. You don't understand trans men who choose to reproduce and have children, but you are quote unquote best friends or close friends or industry friends with a non-operative trans woman with a very large penis who used her penis to capitalize and create a foundation for herself so then she could pivot and switch to entertainment. You can understand that, and you're friends with that somebody who lives outside of the quote unquote binary and doesn't navigate the world or hasn't navigated the world as a traditional cis woman, and you want to give her these opportunities and name drop her. But when it comes to a trans man who, for all intents and purposes, is using his queer body in a way that he desires, that's uncomfortable, and you don't get that, and you don't understand that. Make it make sense for me. But yeah, that's my thought on this casual transphobia. Continue to resist. Continue to call that shit out. Continue to make these motherfuckers feel uncomfortable. In my opinion, it's better than them than us. If you have any reactions to the show, please feel free to write me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. If you're on Twitter, hashtag girldownpodcast. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. And I will see y'all on the next episode.